Hey there, I wanted to post a update. I had my hysterectomy about 2 days ago. I've been out of the hospital now for about 48 hours. So just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience. I went to KU Med in Kansas City and saw Dr. Gray. I had, I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but a partial hysterectomy. Basically, everything was taken out except my ovaries. And I had it done internally, if you know what I mean. All the incisions are inside of my body, which is supposed to make the healing go quicker, um, which is good. So I ended up going to the hospital, got there at like 5:45 in the morning, and they took me back right away. So I've got a fruit fly problem right now. Um, and took me back and got me ready. Half an hour later, I was under anesthesia. And the procedure itself, I believe, only took 30 minutes to an hour. But I had to stay in the recovery area for longer than expected because they couldn't get me to go pee. And if you can't pee, they won't let you leave, because they don't want make sure they didn't mess anything up with your bladder or any of that. And like the first couple times I like tried to pee, it was just like straight up blood and just like wasn't enough. So I drank a bunch of water and Sprite, and finally, like 3 or 4 hours later, I was able to go enough to be able to go home. And waiting in that post-op area was actually kind of like the worst part of the experience because, like, as I was like coming more awake, there were a lot of people around me who had just had surgery. Like this lady was like right next to me, and like she had kidney stones removed, I believe, and she was in a lot of pain. So she was like literally like right next to me, like writhing and like yelling in pain, and they kept giving her more pain meds, and I just felt awful for her. But they really had a lot of us squeezed into one room, which I didn't really expect. I think that's the longest I've ever had to stay in a recovery type room, so I think maybe I was just more aware of it. I mean, there was another person, it was a kid actually, just down from me who was like screaming for his mom the whole time. I mean, it's a very anxiety inducing experience, and I didn't have like my phone, or like I didn't even have my watch on. I didn't even know what time it was. I didn't have a TV nearby. So not the best, but my nurse was really great throughout that. So basically from there, I came home, was still fairly like awake and with it, uh, and I did just kind of go back and forth from sitting on the couch and sleeping, but I still had a lot of anesthesia in me. But the very first night, so this is Thursday night, I started feeling like an incredible amount of pain. It's kind of like my lower area where you would typically have like period cramps. That was like, intense, of course, which, I kind of expected. But then like my upper abdomen was like sharp, like stabbing pains as well. And I guess I didn't realize how like, far into my abdomen they went, and how many like of my internal organs that would affect them kind of repositioning and changing. So literally kind of feeling those things moving around, just a lot of throbbing pain from that. So I did end up taking one of my pain meds around like 6 or 7, and it didn't really help that much. And I started to get kind of freaked out, tried to go to bed. I couldn't really fall asleep. And I ended up calling the hospital just to make sure everything was okay. Also because when I was going to the bathroom, it was like really, really hurting when I was urinating. But I realized later that I had a catheter, and they also did some kind of like bladder scan on me. So that was why that was probably really painful at the time. And so got through that night. Next day, basically stayed on top of that pain meds the whole time. I didn't want to get to that bad place again because I was kind of getting really anxious. I already have a lot of anxiety as it is, and I didn't want to get back to that place. So yesterday, stayed pretty drugged up. And then today, I have not been taking the pain meds as much, and I've honestly been feeling a lot better, which I'm shocked after already, like I said, a little over 48 hours, I feel a lot better. So at this point, I'm trying to just make sure I'm still resting, not trying to do anything too crazy, not moving my core too much, which is pretty hard. I mean, getting in and out of bed, sitting up in a chair, even just trying to grab something. I'm trying to like use my legs or just, of course, ask somebody to do it too, which is hard. But yeah, everything's going pretty well. I'm hoping in, a couple weeks I'll be able to do most things again. You're not supposed to do any strenuous activities for 6 to 8 weeks, as well as like no submerging, so no swimming, which sucks because it's summer. But I'm feeling really relieved that this is over. I was very nervous about it, and everything went really well. I am having some bleeding still, so hoping that kind of subsides in time too, and just trying to be careful because I don't want that to be a complication later on. But yeah, just wanted to give my update. Maybe I'll record another update as I keep healing. And, if you ever have any questions about my process, feel free to ask. I think that's about it. All right, so thanks so much. Bye.